Welcome here to TalkFCB and welcome back to the channel, guys. After yesterday's draw against Valencia, many of us Barca fans, as always after a disappointing day, we've been left with a number of questions. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the best of them with you guys, as we're going to focus on our defending from set pieces, the future of Philippe Coutinho, Koeman's problem with Riqui Puig, and also the future of Lionel Messi. It's all coming up in today's video, but let's start with a positive piece of news. Because indeed, before we do get started on those big questions, what I have to bring you is that Ozman is back. He is back in training this morning. He returned there for the full session with the rest of the group, and he is pushing to be involved on Tuesday against Valladolid, and that is really great news there. Him returning from that injury pretty quickly, I have to say, and it's so great to see him back, a player that we really miss. But if we do indeed kick off now with the questions, because of course I think many of us watching Barca, and in particular they're watching the goals that we concede, we're all asking the same question right now. What is our problem when defending set pieces, and why do we seem incapable of actually getting it right? Because quite honestly, when you're talking there about football, when you're talking about tactics, when you're talking about setting up defensively, defending set pieces is one of those things that on the training ground, with work, with time, with application, you can get it right. It is a case there of understanding your opponents, matching them up man for man, putting the right players on the right opponents. Yesterday, we got it all wrong. Diakabi scoring from the corner for Valencia, which really hurt us there early on in the game. Griezmann was the man picking him up, which again was all wrong. And it's not the first time either. You look at the game against Sociedad, another goal that could have hurt us there to send us 1-0 down. It was a corner there that was well executed from them, but we simply don't deal with balls into the box. And the question is, why not? And it's interesting because quite honestly, guys, I think actually the biggest thing that we miss right now from Luis Suarez, and this is going to sound really strange, but one of the biggest things we miss from him is actually the way that he used to really patrol that near post. And I'm not sure if you guys remember, many a time there, Suarez would be on the near post as a corner was whipped in, and it would be his responsibility to get that ball clear. If he could get that away, he would always rise really good in the air and get the ball away, and he was the first man there to beat, and often he was very good at defending corners. And I would also look back to the days of Luis Enrique to see basically how it's possible to get things right from set pieces. I remember there when Luis Enrique came in alongside Nzue as a partnership there on the training ground. They got it absolutely spot on. We had a clear plan when balls were coming into the box from corners, from free kicks, and I think you all remember, for instance, in the Champions League when we went all the way, many a time there when a free kick was launched into the box, Barca were absolutely incredible at playing a really high line and stepping out at the perfect moments. And like I say, on the training ground, if you work on it long enough, if you spend enough attention to detail on those corner kicks, you will get it right. It's a case of work. But of course, aside from the team, there has of course been very much attention paid to individuals in this Barcelona team, and one man in particular who always seems to have speculations surrounding his future. It is of course Philippe Coutinho, who again yesterday started the game. I don't think he played particularly well. I wouldn't say, that he was the worst player. I wouldn't say that it was all on his shoulders, but he's not quite feeling right now at home in this Barca team, and it's very much a similar story to what we've seen from him right throughout a difficult Barca career for him. And the big question is going to be, does he have a future in this team? Is he going to be somebody here who in the years to come, in the seasons to come at this club, is he somebody who's going to give us something? Is he going to be a valuable member of this team? And honestly, I would say right now, he probably isn't. Because you look at the way that he started the season. He came back from Bayern, of course. He scored against us in the Champions League there when he was out on loan. He didn't have an amazing season at Bayern. He wasn't in their team every single game. And of course, even in that game against us, he did come off the bench. But he did come back and he looked revitalised. He looked good physically. He started the games under Koeman. He had a good few first games of the season. But after he actually got injured there in this team and he spent some time away, and in came Pedri and came Griezmann there in those central areas, he has never really managed to recover that form, and he's never really been able to outshine them. In particular, I'd look at Pedri, somebody there who's such a young player, 18 years old. He is outshining Coutinho right now. He is doing things that Coutinho would like to be doing in a Barca shirt. He would love to be combining in the way that Pedri has been with Lionel Messi, but ever since Coutinho has arrived at the club, for let's remember, a record transfer fee. It seems incredible now, but this is a player who cost Barcelona upwards of €150 million. Even more than that with the add-ons. It's crazy. But it just hasn't worked out for him in a Barca shirt. And of course the question will be now, is he going to move on? Are we going to look to try and sell Philippe Coutinho? He's 28 years old right now. He actually turns 29 in June. This is a player who doesn't have an extraordinary amount of time left in his career. And the question would be, is there going to be anybody trying to buy him? There's already been rumours that in January we could look to offload Coutinho. But as has been the case now for many, many seasons since he arrived, it's all about the offers. If nobody wants to come in there and pay the money that we want for Coutinho, he's seen him go out on loan because we couldn't sell him, and it all depends on if anybody is willing to come in, pay the money and get the player, because if not, it's very, very difficult to shift players on these high wages after being brought in for such a big transfer fee. And much in the same way as Griezmann, Coutinho was brought in for massive money without a clear role or a clear plan to integrate him into the team. I feel sorry for him. I really, really do, because I don't not like Coutinho. I don't dislike him as a player, but he's another player who was brought in from the idiotic board that we had until very recently, and sadly, we're still paying the price. But of course, one of the biggest questions by a country mile amongst us Barca fans right now relates to the relationship between Ronald Koeman and Riqui Puig. And indeed there, Joel, big supporter of the channel, he is speaking the words that are on everybody's mind. What is the deal between Koeman and Puig? And I think this certainly does, although we discussed it a lot already, it does need more discussion. Because indeed, as we discussed before the game against Valencia, Ronald Koeman publicly criticised Riqui Puig for what he felt was a poor attitude in training. He said that Puig didn't do enough to warrant opportunities in this team, and he basically publicly accused Puig of not trying hard enough, not doing enough in training, and I think personally that is very, very far from the actual truth. Because I would actually look there at when Ronald Koeman came into the club very, very early on in his coaching career at Barca. He looked at Riqui Puig and he said, okay, you should go out on loan. Now, had he seen the poor attitude already? I don't think so. Had he seen Puig training many, many times? He hadn't. Yet he already made the decision to want to send him out on loan. And here now, it just seems very, very convenient that after he said no, he said, I'm not leaving, I want to fight for my place. Now, Koeman is saying, oh, well, he doesn't train well. It's a very, very easy way to get out of this situation. And I think there it does look convenient for me. And I would also say that Ronald Koeman, he doesn't help himself. Because after the game against Valencia, we discussed it yesterday on MORETALKFCB, the one thing that he looked to blame the young players. He said, oh, we don't have experience, the young players need to mature. He looked to blame them for the drop points yesterday, and that seems to be his go-to. If something goes wrong, he looks to the young players to throw under the bus, he looks to somebody else there to take on that responsibility, and that's why when it comes to Puig, I wouldn't take his word as gospel, and I wouldn't say that what he is saying about training, what we've heard about leaks, all of this kind of stuff, I would take that with a pinch of salt. Because for me, you look at Riqui Puig, you look at the way that he influences games, you look at the attitude that he has after coming off the bench. Even when he knows he's not trusted, he still comes on, he makes an impact, he looks to be involved, he looks energetic. That is not somebody who has a poor attitude. No mistake about it. Finally though, we do of course have to talk about Lionel Messi. Question here from Nizar, again a big supporter of the channel. Thank you indeed for that. And I think we are all wondering many times, not only when we lose, but also in general, what is happening right now in Lionel Messi's head. I think in particular there, when you saw the photo of him looking up at that empty Camp Nou stands, looking at where there used to be thousands of people chanting his name, and what's going on right now in his mind. Does he still want to leave? And when he's out there on the field, is he thinking about that? Is he thinking about his future? And what I would like to say on that is that it has been announced in the Spanish media from source there, La Sexta. They have said that very soon there will be an exclusive, groundbreaking interview between Lionel Messi and one of Spain's most reliable and respected journalists that will be airing on TV for us all to see very soon. They say the release date for that interview right now, it could be next Sunday, which would be the 27th of December, or it could be the first Sunday of 2021, which there would be the 3rd of January. But either way, that is going to be announced soon, and that interview is going to be released very, very shortly. And they go on to say the contents of that interview, what is said in that interview, it will shock the world. And now we're all wondering, what does that mean? And And I do indeed, guys, invite you in the comments down below. What do you think in particular there with that interview with Messi? What do you think he could say that would effectively shock the world? What do you think that he is going to announce in that interview in the coming days? Of course, when that interview breaks, when it all happens, I will keep you very much updated right here on TalkFCB and indeed over on the second channel. Thank you indeed for watching today, guys, and thank you for all of your questions. Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below on everything we have discussed. And tomorrow, once again, we're back in action. The pressure is on, and scrutiny over Koeman's position, it's going to remain if the results continue to go the way they have been. I will see you soon, guys, and thanks again. But until next time, as always, Visca el Barça.